Hi, I'm Lori from Sew Unique Threads, and here's my partner, Judy.
I have to press a button. Our Kendra girl isn't here today.
Yes,
Kendra
yes.
lady isn't here
So we're
today.
on our own, so good luck to you all. What do we have in our bag for this one? This is month three of Kaffe V.
So month 3. So of course you get this lovely bag to get you started, and you get a couple pages, 3 pages of instructions. So a little bit more reading.
We're doing a lot this month.
Yes, they are doing a lot. They're getting a 2-yard piece of Aboriginal print. They're getting a piece of the red strata, and they're getting some, there's a 3-inch cut of the yellow paperweight. Is that Roman glass or paperweight?
Roman glass.
And then 3-inch cuts of the green, and then 1.5-inch strip of the orange mosaic buttons. So lots of fabric, but lots to do this month. So we have only 4 months to work on our project, and we're in month 3 already.
I know it.
Month 3.
Yeah.
Should we recap later?
Yeah, we'll recap later, yeah.
Okay. Well, this is going to just be a couple of steps for you. So you're going to get your 2-yard piece of Aboriginal print. 2 yards.
Yep, so
Doubled. It's doubled here.
It's doubled, 2 yards.
So we're going to have you fold it in 4ths. First of all, I'm going to have you take it to the ironing board and press it nice and straight. Get your salvages as close as possible, a nice pressing on it. Take it to your cutting board, fold it in 4 times. Line it up on your cutting board and trim off the selvage. Now trim it off. You want to make sure you get all the little white area removed and all the little dots or holes in the fabric. You get that all off of there.
But don't trim too much.
Yeah, no,
don't trim an inch of the fabric off. Just trim the selvage.
Just trim the selvage. So now that we've got it laid out like this, each time you cut it, you're going to be cutting 2 at one time. So we're going to start you off by cutting 2 strips of 4.5, 4.5, and 4.5, and that will give you 4 strips all together. And when you're done with it, have you tie them up and mark them as your borders. So again, your 2 cuts of 4.5 will yield you your 4 borders. Yes, and the reason we're doing this
is so there's no seams in your border.
No seams, no piecing, no misalignment of the Aboriginal dot.
Yeah.
So after that, then we're going to have you do 2 more cuts, 2 2.5-inch cuts this time, 2.5, 2.5. Fold those up, mark them with a little note saying binding. Keep those safe. We're not going to use them this month, but you'll have them all tucked away in your box. So keep those safe and sound until next time. Now from the rest of the fabric, you're going to have roughly about an 18-inch piece left over.
18 inches by 2 yards.
72 by 18, yes. So I'm going to have you take that back to the ironing board and press out that seam you just pressed in there. Sorry. But we had to have it folded to start.
Yep.
So you're going to press out that seam, come back to your cutting board, fold it in 4ths again. You might have to trim up the edge just a little bit to make sure that lines up.
Yep.
Every time you cut it, the fabric slips just slightly. So your first cut, and this being a single layer cut, you're going to cut 7.5-inch strip. 1 7.5-inch strip. And from that, you're going to cut 4 7.5-inch squares, and you're going to cut them in half to get 8 triangles. Again, 1 7.5-inch cut. You're going to cut 4 7.5-inch squares, and then you're going to cut them into triangles to yield 8 triangles. When you're all done with that, set those triangles aside.
And the leftover piece. There should be some leftover piece, right?
But they need to do one more thing with this.
Okay.
They need to cut 2 5-inch squares from the end of that. 5-inch squares, trim it off, do 2 5-inch squares. Hold on to those. Now tuck this away for later.
So that rectangle scrap is a scrap.
It's a scrap, we need it.
We're gonna use it?
Yes.
Okay.
We don't like to have too much waste. So now you're gonna cut a 5-inch strip, the entire length of 72 inches. My number escapes me how many you can get, but
cut up the whole strip into squares.
Cut the whole strip into 5-inch squares, and then you're gonna
5-inch, not 5.5.
No, just 5.
5 inches.
5-inch squares. 1 cut, 5-inch, and then you're gonna cut them into triangles. So that's what we're gonna do. So hold those aside. Again, 1 5-inch strip, cut them all into triangles, plus the 2 squares you just cut from the 7.5-inch square. So now we have
pay attention to your directions.
So now you have some triangles to tuck away.
Yeah.
Well, we're not done yet.
So that's all the cutting, right?
No, we're not done yet. There's a little bit left over.
I haven't done mine this month, so this is all like news to me.
So there's a little bit left over. There's about 2 inches left over. So you're going to cut a 1.5-inch strip, 2 yards by 1.5 inches, and you're going to cut that back into 3-inch pieces. So 1.5 by 3, and you're going to have about this much left over when you're done.
So cut frugally, friends.
Frugally. So you're going to cut as many as you can out of that strip. But then we're going to have you do a couple other things. You've got to go back into your project box. There was a little bit left over in month 1, about, anyway, enough to get a 3-inch strip. We need 16 3-inch squares of the Aboriginal print. And I don't know where my samples are, but they're gone. Anyway, and we'll need a couple more of these, but you'll probably have some of these left over because they're the same size as we used in the churn dash. Same size as we used in here, so you may have a few left over. So dig through that. Again, 16 3-inch squares and a couple more of these. I'm sorry, I don't have my numbers. They're on the paper though, you can check. So now you have this, and now you're done. Woo, we're done with that.
Okay, all right.
So this, thanks for getting all those borders and bindings cut for us. Saved us a few things. So we're going to move this aside because we're going to show you what you're going to do next.
Okay. So then out of the red strata?
Red strata. Isn't it pretty?
You're going to cut
all the colors.
Yep, you're going to cut 2 strips.
2 5.5-inch
5.5-inch strips out of this.
And you're going to layer them on top of each other. One on top, just nest them on top.
Your whole strip.
Your whole strip together.
Yep. So you've got the wrong sides facing each other on these strips. Okay.
Just like just coming off the bolt, just cut them just like that. Layer them on top of one another.
2 strips.
And you're going to cut two 5.5-inch squares. You're going to be getting 4 each cut because you're layered. Here's one. Let's slide this down.
So a total of squares we need 8.
So there's 4 and 4, and then you'll get 8.
So and then we're going to cut them in half, and you cut them all the same. You cut them. Oh, they're all stacked, so you make 1 cut. Okay. So what this does, it gives us opposite triangles for what we're doing, and we're going to do 2 sets of these. This set is not the same as this set. So follow your instructions and make sure you're doing them right. You're going to sew them together back to back, these triangles, back to back like this. One with the stripe going this way, one with the stripe going this way, and then the opposite side. This has a vertical stripe, this has a horizontal stripe, and then we do it opposite. So we'd have 4 like this and 4 like that.
I can see that. There's a picture of them in the thing.
Yeah. So this is opposite of this. You don't want all 8 of them to be the same. 4 like this, 4 like this. And then you're going to take your 7.5-inch triangles.
After you've sewn them together.
And sew this to it. Yeah. Sew it like that. So, because of the triangles, we've got bias edges here. So you want to do a basting stitch around at least these 2 sides. You can go around the whole thing, but at least these 2 sides that are bias edges. You want to have that like 1/8 of an inch from the edge of your fabric into, so it's in your seam allowance. But putting the stay stitch on there is going to keep those pieces from stretching as you handle them.
And once this is all put together, these 2 pieces are put together, and you press it toward the dark, you'll have to go ahead and trim it up a little bit to be 6.5.
6.5.
It's a little bit oversized to help people make sure that they get their good triangles in place.
Yeah, and you've got a good center on here to center your ruler for to cut 6.5.
So only 8 of those, not like 28 from last month, but 8. But
only 8 of those. But wait, we're not done.
We're not done. You got your cutting done, you got your strata stripes done, and now we're going to have you do a couple more blocks. Well, not a couple. We're doing 16.
Still not as many as 28.
I'm gonna switch this around. Being left-handed, I like to work in this direction, so try not to bump into you.
Okay.
So from your strips, your green strips and your yellow strips, and your I don't know why I changed that. I'm sorry. Orange strips. You're gonna cut this into 3-inch squares. Again, 3-inch squares here, and 1.5-inch squares there, and the numbers listed in the paperwork.
Yep.
And so we're going to construct a little bit of a kind of a leaf block or tulip block. I'm not sure what we want to chat about it, call it, but it's pretty simple. You construct it by pulling 2 light colors together and then 1 color with your background. Then once you get those all sewn together, you sew one of your hopefully you can see okay, 1.5-inch Aboriginal print and the 1.5-inch orange buttons on there, mosaic buttons.
Yep.
Mosaic
So
buttons.
this is kind of an odd configuration, but don't worry about it. We're going to take care of that.
It looked pretty normal.
Well,
Yeah.
it's not. That's not a block.
No, it's not a block yet, so don't get too worried about it. So the next thing is, once you have that in there, you're going to want to press it. And I put a picture about the pressing to kind of keep the seams away from the center block. Oh, this one's not. Oh well, don't look at that. Anyway.
Don't look at that.
So now I need to go ahead and find the center of this block. And you're going to draw a line down the center. You can use a heat
Frixion pen.
Frixion pen, or I use soap, or you can use chalk.
Chalk.
And you're
Because it's going to need to be permanent, so
Yeah.
don't use anything permanent.
Nope, nothing permanent. So you're going to draw from the center, then you're going to measure 1 3/4 inches out, 1 3/4 inches out, and once you have that measured, then you're going to cut on that marked line, and you're going to get this odd little shaped, I don't know. It's not a parallelogram, it's something.
So could you just take your ruler from the center line and go 1 3/4 and cut it that way?
Yes, you wouldn't have to mark the
Okay.
center, but in case your ruler slips or slides.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, so you're right on the line, 1
Right on
3/4 from the center.
and you'll just trim off these extra little wings. And then when you get that done, then you're going to sew your 5-inch triangles on the outside. And what I did was I just did a little finger press to mark the center, or you can put like a little Frixion pen there, or in this case, because it's white, I used my soap. But you just want to mark the center, match the centers, and stitch all the way excuse me, on both sides, and you'll get something like this. And then you're going to go ahead and you're going to trim it to 6.5 inches square using a wonderful ruler.
Is there a center to that block that they can go from?
Yeah, right here.
You'll
same
probably still
diagonal.
have your line.
The same diagonal
Okay.
that you had here.
Okay.
And then you're going to end up with a 6.5 inch square. So you're going to do 12 green,
12 green,
and 4 yellow.
4 yellow. What in the world are we going to do with those?
I don't know, there's not enough to go all the way around the quilt. You'll have to stay tuned. But let's see, how's everybody doing with their project so far? So Lori's put some things up here on the board.
Do not sew your blocks together like this. This is not how it goes.
You'll have to get your seam ripper out if you do.
We want to show how pretty they were. These are the ones you did from month 2, month 1.
1.
These are month 2, and I don't have all mine up here because mine aren't all sewn yet. Oh dear.
You're doing a small zigzag or
I'm
small
doing
button?
a small buttonhole stitch with, this one is done. Small buttonhole stitch with monofilament thread. Yep.
My machine doesn't like
On
monofilament.
both sides, yeah.
I'm doing a hand applique.
So.
That's coming along.
That's coming along.
So anyway, so I know there's a lot of work this month, a lot of fabric, but a lot of work as well. So hopefully if you have any, you can get through it okay. If you have any questions, please call the shop and let us know.
Yep.
Especially if you have any cutting, stop in on a day when Lori and I are either one of us are
Or you can
here.
ask a question in the comments, however you're watching this. Hopefully this will be posted to Instagram and Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
So you can comment there and ask questions, and we usually see those and we can answer there.
Yes,
Yeah.
you can. So get your rotary cutter out and your ironing board and your machine ready. So I think that's it.
It'll be a fun month.
It will be. It'll be busy.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We'll see you. I gotta go turn off press the button.
So should I do a dance while you're doing
Yeah,
that?
do your Vanna.
Bye.